You know what's wild? Japanese people aren't out here doing crunches while meditating on mountaintops, yet somehow they have the lowest obesity rates on planet Earth. And before you think, well, yeah, genetics, think again. Because when Japanese people move to America and start living like Americans, suddenly they're getting type 2 diabetes and belly fat like the rest of us. So clearly something else is going on, and it's not what you think. Because it turns out Japanese people aren't superhuman. They're not counting calories. They're not doing intermittent fasting because some podcast bro told them to. They're just existing in an environment that accidentally keeps them thin. Which means if we steal that environment, we can accidentally stay thin too. Without moving to Tokyo, without eating raw fish for breakfast, without even trying that hard. And I'm gonna give you 5 simple ways to do this starting today. Stuff that takes 0 willpower, just environmental design that does the work for you while you're busy living your life. But first, let's talk about what visceral fat actually is, because it's not just belly fat. Visceral fat is the stuff wrapped around your organs like some kind of toxic sleeping bag. It's not the pinchable fat on your stomach that you can grab. That's subcutaneous fat, and it's mostly harmless, just vibing. Visceral fat is times inside times your abdomen, strangling your liver and pancreas, pumping out inflammatory chemicals like a little disease factory. This is the fat that actually kills you. Heart disease, diabetes, all that fun stuff. And Japanese people specifically don't have much of it, which brings us to the genetics excuse. Oh, but they're just genetically different. No, stop. The goldfish analogy is gonna blow your mind here. You know how a goldfish grows to the size of its bowl? Put it in a tiny bowl, tiny fish. Put it in a pond. Suddenly you've got a koi the size of a football. Same fish, different environment. That's us. Western environments are times massive bowls, asterisk. We've got Costco-sized portions, 11-inch dinner plates, cars for every trip, soda fountains with free refills the size of your torso. We're not weak, we're not broken, we're just goldfish in a really, really big bowl. And our bodies are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, growing to match. Japanese environments are smaller bowls. And here's the kicker. This isn't some ancient samurai wisdom. It's just infrastructure, design, choices, stuff we can copy paste into our own lives without learning Japanese or buying a plane ticket. So let's get into it. Okay, first up, hara hachi bu. It's this Okinawan thing that basically means eat until you're 80% full, then stop. And I know what you're thinking, cool, so just have willpower and stop eating before I'm full. Got it. Thanks for nothing. But hold on, there's actual neuroscience here that makes this way easier than it sounds. Your stomach and your brain are on a 20-minute delay, like a bad Zoom call. Your stomach is screaming, we're full, but your brain doesn't get the message for another 20 minutes. So when you eat until you feel 100% stuffed, you've actually overshot by like 30%. You're not full. You're times over times full. You just don't know it yet. The fix? Pause between bites. Put your fork down. Leave one bite on the plate just to prove to yourself you can. I know, you paid for that food, but eating past fullness isn't honoring the meal, it's using your body as a trash compactor. Save the leftovers. Your future self will thank you. This works because it creates that 20-minute buffer your brain needs to catch up. And in Japan, they do this automatically because meals come in multiple small courses. Little dish, soup, little dish. Natural pauses built in. We can fake this just by slowing down. Here's something that'll make you unreasonably angry. Plate size controls how much you eat more than hunger does. Japanese meals come on like 17 tiny plates. It's called ichiju sansai. 1 soup, 3 sides, and everything's the size of a teacup. Meanwhile, American dinner plates are 11 inches wide and we treat them like serving platters for 1 person. Your eyes determine portion size, not your stomach. When you see a full plate, your brain goes, ah yes, a complete meal, and feels satisfied. But if that plate is times massive asterisk, you've just eaten 40% more food without realizing it. The fix is stupid simple. Use an 8-inch salad plate as your dinner plate. That's it. No calorie counting, no meal prep, just smaller plate. It still looks full, your brain still feels satisfied, but you've automatically cut portions by 30–40%. And before you go, but I don't want to buy new dishes, you don't have to. Use what you have. Serve your main on the small plate. Put vegetables on the big one. Use tall, skinny glasses instead of short, wide ones. Your brain is very easy to trick, and we should absolutely exploit that. Okay, this one's huge. NEAT. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Fancy words for the calories you burn just existing. Going to the gym for an hour is like a sprint. Moving slowly all day is like a car idling for 16 hours. Which one burns more gas? The car. Obviously. Japanese people have insane NEAT because their infrastructure times it. Walk to the train, climb subway stairs, stand on the train, walk from the station. They're not trying to exercise. Movement is just baked into existence. We live in car-dependent suburban sprawl where you can go days without walking more than 50 feet, so we have to get creative. Park at the back of every parking lot. Stand during phone calls. Pace while brushing your teeth. Take stairs when they exist. Walk around the grocery store once before shopping. These sound trivial, but they compound times fast. Asterisk. Set a timer. Every hour, stand up and move for 2 minutes. That's it. Just interrupt the sitting. If you do this during an 8-hour workday, that's 16 minutes of movement you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Over a year, that's literal pounds of fat burned doing basically nothing. The math is absurd. 200 to 400 extra calories burned per day from these micro movements. That's 20 to 40 pounds lost in a year. From parking further away, this is why environmental design beats willpower every single time. Japanese people eat fermented foods at every meal. Miso soup, pickles, natto, which is fermented soybeans that look like alien snot but apparently are great for you. Here's the thing. Your gut microbiome talks to your metabolism. Better gut health equals better insulin sensitivity equals less visceral fat storage. This isn't magic. It's just biology that actually works. And you don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just add one fermented food to what you're already eating. Kimchi in your eggs. Miso soup before dinner. Sauerkraut on your salad. Addition, not subtraction. Way easier psychologically. If natto grosses you out, skip it. If miso sounds weird, start with kimchi. The point is variety and probiotics, not suffering through foods you hate. Miso paste costs like $4, lasts for months, and you just whisk it into hot water. 3-minute soup, done. The single biggest source of hidden calories in Western diets? Liquid sugar, soda, frappuccinos, juice. Your body doesn't register liquid calories the same way it does food. You can drink 500 calories and still be hungry an hour later. Japanese default beverage, unsweetened green tea. 0 calories. Mild metabolic boost from catechins, nothing crazy, but eliminating liquid sugar alone is times massive asterisks. Cold brew a pitcher overnight, keep it in the fridge, make it as easy as grabbing a Coke. If unsweetened tastes like sadness at first, transition slowly. Lightly sweetened for a week, then less, then none. Your palate adapts faster than you think. 2 sodas a day equals 300 calories. Replace them with tea equals 30 pounds lost in a year from that change alone. Stack that with everything else and you see why this compounds so hard. Real quick, don't copy times everything times about Japanese diets. Traditional Japanese food is dangerously times high in sodium. Soy sauce, pickles, processed fish. It's a stroke and stomach cancer waiting to happen despite the low obesity rates. Take the principles. Ditch the excess salt. Use low sodium versions when you can. And add more protein than traditional Japanese meals include. Because skinny fat with no muscle is not the goal. Also, those TikTok Japanese fat loss secrets, the towel method, long breath diet, that's just core exercises disguised as mysticism. Ignore that stuff. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You're failing because you're a goldfish in a giant bowl fighting against an environment designed to make you overconsume. Japanese people aren't more disciplined. They're not genetically superior. They just live in smaller bowls. And you can build yourself a smaller bowl starting today. Pick one thing. Just one. Smaller plates. Green tea instead of soda. Soup before meals. Moving 2 minutes every hour. Pick one and do it for a week. Then add another. This isn't a diet. Diets end. This is redesigning your environment so healthy choices become automatic. And in 6 months, when you realize your genes fit better and you didn't even try that hard, that's when you'll get it. The environment was always winning. You just finally got it to work times for times you instead of against you. Stop fighting the bowl. Change the bowl.